Good evening, Raipur. After scintillating performance and in some inspiring stories, today I want to present you on this topic of first 1,000 days, which predicts your life. It has been already predicted. If you are in this position, your life has been already predicted when you are in the first 1,000 days. That means less than 2 years. So my topic is this topic. And first one, I want to ask you a question. Do you want your children to be tall, healthy, studious, IQ, and do you want your children to earn substantial amount of money and successful in life and happy in the life? And if you say yes, this talk is on that subject. The future, the destiny of a person is not decided by horoscope, and hereditary has very little role in the future of a person. So that's the topic. And if that is the case, what is this first 1,000 days? How is this first 1,000 days derived? It is 2 years. It's from conception to the 2 years of the child, which means a pregnancy, you know that 270 days plus 365 days of first year, then plus 365 days of second year, then put together you get this 1,000 days. So in this 1,000 days, what can we do about it? Because as I said, it predicts your life. So if in this 1,000 days, if you do, I want to share with you 11 tips that if you do, then your child will be tall, healthy, income generating, all blah, blah, all these areas. And whatever that 11 things you can do, you have to do that there is a window of opportunity, which is called, can be done only the first 1,000 days, and the window closes after 1,000 days. Whatever you do, after 1,000 days, it is irreversible. Whether it's positive things or negative things, it is irreversible and lifelong, as per the Lancet paper. Now, I want to, before I come to the 11 tips I want to give to you, but before that one, I want to talk briefly about what are the areas children are, individual is influenced in the first 1,000 days. First is the health. Obviously, the survival of an independent, a person depends upon the first 1,000 days because 80% of the child death, under 5 child deaths happens in the first 1 year. About 900,000 children die in India every year under 5 children. Out of that, 730,000 children die in the first 1 year itself. So if you can survive that stage, then you have a longer expectancy. Second one is the diseases. So the childhood is a period of the maximum number of diseases, life-threatening diseases happening in the childhood. Not only the childhood diseases, whatever diseases you will likely to have in your adulthood, like cardiac diseases, the BP, the diabetes, it's also decided in this 1,000 days. Third is nutrition. It's very obvious. Stunting, all the stunting, about 80% of the stunting of a person happens in the first 1,000 days. And third one is regarding the IQ. Your IQ, your cognitive development, and how you perform in studies is also decided in 1,000 days because 80% of the brain development happens in the first 2 years of your life. And in the early years of a child, brain makes about 1,000 neural connections per second. I said per second, not minute. And that lays the foundation for the architecture of the brain. And if a brain architecture is made, then you have a better IQ, better cognitive development, and that will help you in your studies. Fourth one is regarding the height. It is a little controversial thing. And height, most of the time, the Indian youth, whether men or women, do not attain their potential for the height is because they are stunted in this 1,000 days. So if you are not stunted, then probably you can gain height, much better height, and that not only the issue of the height, when you are stunted, it also stunts your cognitive development. Now, there are a lot of researches on it. The WHO growth standards, which mentions about what a child of particular age should have, what height, which is used across the world, not only in India, Europe, everywhere. That itself is a proof. Second proof is, there is a study by Professor Sachdeva who says that the children of the new generation children are gaining about 5-6 inches taller than their parents. And there is another interesting study, which is called the London Imperial College of Study, that also says that it is more than the hereditary factors which decides on the height. It is the environmental and the nutrition factors which decides on the height. And then the fifth is the income. This is related to the height. I'm not saying this one because I am 6 feet 2 inches. There's a strong connection between height and income. Taller you are, you will get more income. There is a famous study called Grantham-McGregor study, which says that 22% of the income of a standard child's income is reduced by 22% in adulthood. Then there is an interesting study. It is a Timothy Judge study, which says that if your height is 1 inch more, then you have an income of $789 additional income per year, which means if a 5 feet person has got $30,000 as annual income, a 6 feet person will have $40,000 per annum. And there are also another study, is a Brazilian study, which also says there will be increase in there is a strong connection between height. So therefore, children should not be stunted during that period. It is the sixth point is regarding your happiness, success in life, your behavior, attitude is also decided in this first 1,000 days. Not only the issue of an individual or a family is decided, even the destiny of the country is also decided in this first 1,000 days of the child, because a country can lose about 10 to 15% of the GDP if the potential of the child's potential is not attained in the first 1,000 days. Then about 15% of the GDP is lost. For example, if child is malnourished, according to WHO, 6% of the GDP will be lost. And now India's GDP is huge. It is about $3,100 billion, or about more than $3 trillion. In Indian rupee, it is something like rupees 25 followed by some 12 zeros. But to sum it up, just because of the full potential of this 1,000 days the children are not reaching, India is losing about 2.5 lakh crore. I do not know how many zeros, how to write it. So it's a substantial amount is lost. Now, you may ask this question, where did I get these 11 tips which I'm going to share with you? Where did you get? Mostly this research is coming from Lancet medical report and WHO, UNICEF, and World Bank reports. And since this information, this data is very new, probably a doctor or an expert may not be able to give this one, because these are all very recent data and researchers coming into the area over last 10 years. And most of these tips which I'm going to give to you can be done by you. It doesn't need any doctor or a hospital or anybody's support is not required. And I'm mentioning, today I'm giving 11 tips, but there are also other areas, other factors which affects, there are social determinants which affects the well-being of the child in the first 1,000 days, just like pollution, the social women empowerment, social security, food security, then also the mental health. There are also factors which help. Now we come back to the tips. First tip is regarding the anemia. When the child is born, the mother, should not be anemic. If mother is anemic, it can lead to low birth weight, then undernutrition, then stunting, and the range of things it can happen. Now, undernutrition can be prevented. In India, we have 57% of the women are anemic, and 67% of children below 5 years are also anemic. It can be addressed if you take iron-rich food, or iron-fortified food, or IFA tablets. Now, if you take coffee or tea, the absorption of iron in the body will be little reduced, and then it can be increased if you take lemon or orange or anything. Second tip is regarding the maternal nutrition. This is one of the most neglected area. If mother does not have health checkup, rest, and good food, and supplemented by zinc, calcium, iron, folate, vitamin A, vitamin D. All these elements are not there because there is a strong connection between mother's nutrition and the well-being of the child in the first 1,000 days. Third point, tip is regarding the child should not have LBW, and the LBW means you know all of them. There's a less than 2.5 kilogram or preterm delivery before 37 weeks. This have to be prevented. Once this is set, again the entire vicious cycle of malnutrition, stunting, everything will repeat, and that will affect the potential of the child in the first 1 day. So this is the same. This is the fourth bullet is regarding the neonatal care. Out of 900,000 children who die, under 5 children who die in India, 600,000 children die in the first neonatal period, which means the first 28 days of the life. So it needs to ensure that children do not die in the first 28 days, which needs basically simple things like optimal breastfeeding, kangaroo care method. If the children have got complication like LBW or preterm, probably they may require some treatment in the SNCUs. Fifth point is regarding pneumonia, the diseases in the children. That's the major one reason. Diseases and the congenital heart diseases and the birth defects are the one major area which defects the potential, reduces the potential of the children in the first 1,000 days. And if that has to be treated, now there are a lot of new vaccines have come into our vaccination system. For example, in our routine vaccination system in the government, there is a pneumococcal vaccination as well as the rotavirus, which can partially address pneumonia and diarrhea. And I think this is the most simplest. The seventh, the bullet number 6 is one of the most important and most easiest. There are 3 principles under which all of you know that a baby should get mother's milk within 1 hour and exclusive mother's milk in the first 6 months and complementary feeding starting from this at the 6 months. But this is very easy, but not done. Probably initiating breastfeeding has to be done only one time in the life of a person. But only 42% of the babies get mother's milk within 1 hour, although 89% of the deliveries are in the hospital. Same is the case with the exclusive breastfeeding. Only 64% of the children get it. Now, if the initial breastfeeding is happening within 1 hour, it could have prevented 22% of the neonatal deaths. That is a substantial. I said about 6 lakh children are dies. So if you 22% can be prevented just by one intervention. Same thing overall, 13% of the under 5 child deaths can be prevented if there is a breastfeeding plan. Now, what is surprising is the complementary feeding. All over India, at 6 months, food is introduced. We have Annapras and some functions are there. But research says, the NFHS 5 says, and also 4 says, repeated, that only 11% of the children get adequate food, which means from a child should get food from at least 4 or 5 food groups. It should be, the frequency should be more. This is not happening. That's one area. So if you reflect all this in your own life, you can ask your mother whether this 10, 11 tips which I am giving, has it happened in your life? Ask your mother where she was anemic. Right now, 57% is anemic. So if it is a 30 years back, I do not know, it was about 80% were anemic. So if you look into the tips, and then you can compare how it matches with you. The benefits of everyone knows about it. I mean, now is a Poshan Ma. We will be talking about the benefits of this one. It has a lot of benefits for babies. Everyone knows because it prevents the diseases, not only the present diseases in the childhood, also the adulthood diseases also can be prevented. IQ, breastfed babies have got more IQ. They have many advantages are there, so we don't have to repeat on that one. But the bottom point is optimal breastfeeding with respect to initial breastfeeding, exclusive breastfeeding, complementary feeding is it has to improve. Then only the child will have a better outcome